Leo, welcome to the realm of astrology. This is your monthly horoscope for the month of June 2021. But before we begin, I want to let you know that I do daily horoscope videos, weekly horoscope videos, monthly horoscope videos, monthly sun and rising sign horoscope videos, and you can watch them all on my channel on YouTube or on my website www.realmofastrology.com, whatever you prefer. Now, before we begin, another thing that please hit the subscribe button. All right. That being said, what's in store for the month of June for you, Leo? So let's talk about that. But before we get into June, I want to talk about something important, and that's this eclipse that happened on May 26th. And this is important because right now we are in between eclipses. We are in between eclipses. There was an eclipse on May 26th, and now there will be an eclipse on June 10th. And why is this important, Leo? This is important because the period in between eclipses is karmic, it's destined. And what does that mean? It means that events will happen, you may receive some information, insights may take place that will put you where you're meant to be. Okay? So this period is very important to June 10th. It's karmic, it's destined, it speeds up events, it gets you information, it gets you insights. All right. So that being said, let's move on to the month of June. Now, the first important thing in the month of June happens on June 1st, and it is the Sun North Node conjunction. This happens on May 31st exactly, but it also happens on June 1st, depending on where you're at. So, what does that mean? The Sun and the North Node are here, they are meeting up, and what happens when they meet up? So, the North Node energizes any planet that's close to it. And in this case, it's energizing the Sun, which is you, which is your identity, which is your soul, your consciousness, your ego, even. So we will feel like our identity is taking shape. We will feel like, yes, this is the right path because the North Node is where we are headed. It's our goals, it's our path. When these two combine, we'll feel like, yes, our identity, our goals, everything is in sync, and we'll fully imbibe from our soul, from our consciousness, from our identity, from our ego that, yes, this is my goal. And that's because Venus and Mercury already met up with the North Node. And whatever our goals were, our day to day routine, our health, our diet, our mind, our relationships, our finances, our projects, everything is already in sync with our goals. Now, our soul, our identity, our consciousness, our ego was lagging behind, and now that's caught up too. And now, from the very depths of our soul, we are imbibing this to be our goal. But that's not what it only is. It is also an expansion of our identity, it's also an expansion of our consciousness. And this for you, Leo, happens in your 11th house. As you can see, the 11th house is your social circle. So things connected to your social circle will be illuminated. It's also the house of hopes, goals, and dreams. So your hopes, goals, and dreams can come to light at this point. And for you, Leo, a lot of energy right now, as you can see on the chart, is in your 11th house, which means the focus for the past 30 days, not 30 days, yeah, about 10-20 days has been your social circle, has been your acquaintances, the groups that you belong to, and your hopes, goals, and dreams. So that's on June 1st for you. And then moving on to June 2nd, we'll have two major events today. Venus is changing signs, and we have the last quarter phase of the moon. So let's talk about Venus changing signs first. Venus right here has changed signs. You can see it's at 0 degrees of Cancer. It was in the sign of Gemini. And when Venus changes signs, it means it changes houses. So for you, Leo, it was in your 11th house till today, and now it's gone into your 12th house. Wherever Venus is, we become more receptive. We receive blessings, we receive gifts. Things feel easier, things feel smoother. And for you, that has been your social life, that has been your social circle, that has been your acquaintances and your hopes, goals, and dreams. You've received some blessing there as well. And now that's happened in the past 20 days. And now Venus has come to your 12th house, which means matters connected to your spirituality, your subconscious mind, addictions will receive a blessing, will receive something positive. And you will be more receptive to these areas for the next 20 days: spirituality, your subconscious mind, and addictions and depression if those are the issues relevant to you. Now, the next important thing on June 2nd is the last quarter phase of the moon. Now, what is the last quarter phase? It's when the sun and the moon make their last 90-degree angle before the new moon, which will happen on June 10th, which we will speak about, which is also an eclipse. Now, when this happens, what are we doing? This is the point where we let go of things. Okay? It's a point where we let go. We start to shed things. We start to release things. And what are we letting go of? What are we releasing? This ties into the new moon that happened on May 11th. Okay? A new moon is a new beginning. It's when we see things. So on May 11th, a new beginning happened as a collective for us when it came to our self-worth, value, skills, and finances. And for you, Leo, it was connected to your career. There was a new beginning in matters of your career, your business. And now you're assessing what connected to my career can come with me. What is working, what is not working? What do I need to let go of? What do I need to take with me to the next month? Next lunar month that will begin on June 10th. And the entire week to June 10th, you will be doing this. It's a slow process. It's a subconscious process. It's a subtle process. So these are the things happening. And somehow, this is also connected to your social circle, this release process, and it is connected to intimacy. Why? Because the last quarter square is in your 8th and 11th house. Intimacy is the 8th house. Personal karma is the 8th house. And social circle, hopes, goals, and dreams are your 11th house. So this is where probably that release process will be reflected majorly. It could be other areas. Like I said, it's connected definitely to your career, but it could encompass these areas as well. Now I'm going to move on to June 10th. Now this is the most important event of the month. It is the new Moon Solar Eclipse. And what is an eclipse? What is a new Moon Solar Eclipse? A new moon is when the sun and the moon are together. It's going to happen at 19 degrees of Gemini, and the sun and moon come together once a month. So once a month we have a new moon, and that is the time we begin the lunar month. That is the time for new beginnings. That is the time where we see things. And an eclipse is when the new moon happens close to the nodes. The north node is right there. And an eclipse is karmic. It brings out events, it brings out beginnings, and an eclipse energy stays with us for a long time, 6 months at least, maybe even longer. And this is an extremely positive solar eclipse, new beginning, I would say. Okay. Anyway, we'll talk about that when we talk about the eclipse in another video. But for you, Leo, this is happening in your 11th house. So this new beginning for you is connected to your social circle. It's connected to the groups you're part of. It's connected to your hopes, goals, and dreams. That's where you'll start to see things. That's where you'll have a new beginning. And that you'll be able to see clearly on the full moon 14 days later, which we will speak about, and also 6 months from now. Okay, so June 10th, that is happening. And June 11th, another important event is happening. What's happening? Mars, as you can see right here, it's changing signs. From Cancer, it's moving into your sign, Leo. It's moving into Leo. And wherever Mars is, whichever house, it energizes that house. It reinvigorates that house. And for you, that has been your spirituality. That has been your subconscious mind. And if drugs and addictions are relevant to you, then in that regard as well. And now, for the next 40 days, Mars is going to energize your identity, your soul, your consciousness. It's going to reinvigorate all these areas, your appearance even. It's going to reinvigorate the way the world sees you and how you present yourself to the world, Leo. So that, I think, is a great thing. And your leadership qualities as well. Now, another thing happens on June 11th. Let me clean up the chart a little bit before we get to that, so that you can see clearly what I mean. Okay. Now, the next thing that happens is the Sun Mercury conjunction. They're going to meet up, and it's the Sun Mercury retrograde conjunction. Okay. Now, what does this mean? When the Sun and Mercury meet up, usually you get an insight, a message, a realization of sorts. And this is again connected to your social circle and your hopes, goals, and dreams. And this could very well be something from the past coming back, you realizing something from the past, a piece of information coming to you about the past. Why? Because Mercury is in retrograde. So this also happens on June 11th, along with Mars changing signs and entering your first house. Now I'm going to move on to June 14th. This is the most important event of 2021, and this energy is going to be with us all of 2021, even 2022. And what is this? It is the Uranus Saturn Square. Okay, now these planets squared last time in the year 2000. So we're seeing this energy after 21 years. It's a rare event. And yes, these planets are exact right now, today on June 14th. However, this energy will be felt all year into next year as well. And what is this energy? But before I tell you what that energy is, let me tell you about Saturn and Uranus and where those are in your chart and what that means for you. Let's start with Saturn, okay? Saturn is in your 7th house, as you can see on the chart. And Saturn takes about 2.5, 3 years to transit one house, okay? And it's been in your 7th house since December of 2020. So it'll be there till about 2023. Now, wherever Saturn is, it puts matters of that house in order. I'll tell you what those matters are for you. However, it demands hard work, it demands decisions, it demands discipline in that area of your life. And Saturn is a planet where the rewards will come in later, not when you're putting in the work, maybe a year or even 2 years later. But the key with a Saturn transit is to do the work. That's the key. And it feels challenging, I won't lie to you. So for you, Leo, Saturn right now is in your 7th house, and it has been there since December of 2020. And that is about relationships. It's the house of others. It's your marriage. It's your business partnerships. It's your legal issues. So Saturn is putting all these things in order. It could be that you get married. It could be that your marriage is taken to a different level. It could be that your business relationships get resolved, or something comes up in business relationships. So this is that house, and that's where Saturn is transiting. That's where you're working towards. And now let's talk about Uranus. Uranus is in your 10th house, okay? Wherever Uranus is, you'll see sudden changes happen in that area of your life. And these changes will bring you closer to your authentic self. And Uranus has been in your 10th house since 2019, okay? And it will stay here. It stays in a house for 7 years. So the theme will stay till 7 years, and it's your house of career. So it's making sudden changes. It has been making changes, unexpected, sudden changes in your house of career, in your career, Leo. That will bring you closer to who you are, and it's going to be there for 7 years. Now, what happens when these two planets square like this? What does that mean? On a general level, it means that we have to get rid of old structures, old patterns, old thought processes, old ways of being, old ways of living, and embracing the new. That's what it means. It also means you'll have to come into your authentic self, be who you truly are, and not who you think you should be. And for you, Leo, the battle between the old and the new is between your house of marriage, business partnerships, legal issues, and your career. That's where the tug of war will take place. And as it will for everybody, since these planets are in a square, this process, this tug of war will not feel very easy. So that's happening on June 14th, and this energy is going to be with us all year. The next important thing happens on June 17th, and it's the first quarter phase of the moon. Now, what is that? It's again a 90-degree angle between the sun and the moon. And this is the first time they're making a 90-degree angle since the new moon. And what is this point? This is the point where we may face some obstacles, okay, where we may face some challenges, where we may be required to make some adjustments connected to the new beginning that happened on June 10th for us. because that was a new moon. We seeded something, and for you it was in your 11th house, connected to your social circle, hopes, goals, and dreams. So at this point, some obstacles, something may come up that you will need to resolve, or you may need to make a change or an adjustment to pursue that new beginning further. Now the next thing happens on June 20th. The sun enters the sign of Cancer. So let's see. Let me clean the chart up a little bit first. Okay. So this is June 20th that we're talking about now. The sun is going to change signs from Gemini. It's going to come into the sign of Cancer, and the sun's in Gemini. It's going to come into Cancer on June 20th. And that means for the past 30 days up until now, June 20th, you've been focused on your social circle, hopes, goals, and dreams. That has been illuminated to you in your life. And now your spirituality, your connection to the higher realm, if drugs, depression, addictions apply to you, if they're relevant to you, then those areas of your life will be illuminated. Okay? Because the sun's coming into your 12th house. And another thing happens on June 20th. Jupiter will go retrograde. What does that mean? Jupiter, first let's talk about Jupiter a little bit. Jupiter came into the sign of Pisces on May 13th, which means from your 7th house, it came into your 8th house. Wherever Jupiter is transiting, it transits. It takes 1 year to transit a particular house. And it's come into the sign of Pisces after 12 years. What does this mean? Up until May 13th, Jupiter gave you gifts, made you learn some lessons, blessed you, connected to your business partnerships, legal issues, and relationships, the marriage kind relationships. And now it's moved into your 8th house, blessing you when it comes to your personal karma, blessing you when it comes to intimacy, blessing you when it comes to healing, regeneration, transforming, ending something old, all those areas of your life. However, now Jupiter is going to go retrograde, meaning it will appear to move backwards. So from your 8th house, it will go into your 7th house. And what does this mean? This means that you will start to see the rewards come in for the work you put in, for the lessons you learned rather, when Jupiter was direct. And it will also ease off the pressure from learning lessons, because Jupiter is also lessons. Yes, it heals, it blesses, it gives gifts, but it also teaches. So there's either you've learned the lesson or you haven't. And now Jupiter retrograde, will you say, yeah, thank God I learned that lesson, or okay, I should have learned that lesson back then. So that's happening also on June 20th. Now on June 22nd, Mercury right here will go direct. It has been in retrograde, as I mentioned, which is a review process, which is going back to the past. And we can feel mentally slightly confused. Our mind cannot work the best when Mercury is in retrograde. And now Mercury will go retrograde in your 11th house. Matters connecting to your social circle, hopes, goals, and dreams. Things will seem clearer. There'll be forward movement starting on June 22nd. Now the second most important event of June is the full moon in Capricorn. Now the full moon in Capricorn, sorry about that, wrong planet. What is a full moon? It's when the moon and the sun oppose each other, okay? Make a 180-degree angle. And this is the point where we can see things clearly. It's also the completion point. It's a release point. It's a culmination point. And what are we releasing, culminating, completing, Leo? We are culminating, releasing the new beginning that happened on June 10th. Now you can see clearly what that new beginning was about for you. And that happened in your 11th house, I believe, of your social circle, hopes, goals, and dreams. And another thing we are completing, Leo, is the new moon that happened on Jan 13th or 14th, depending where you're at. Now, this was an important new moon. It was the new moon in Capricorn, and it brought to life the change that happened for us in Jan of 2020. We all went through a change in Jan of 2020 when Saturn and Pluto met up. These planets meet up once in 33 to 38 years. So it was a rare occasion. And they met up in your 6th house, Leo. This means it changed your routine. It changed your day-to-day reality. It changed matters associated with your health, with your job, and now we are seeing what that change. We're seeing clearly what that change was. Jan of 2020, it became alive, that change, in Jan of 2021, and now we can see very, very clearly what that change was for us. So there are two things we are able to see clearly. One is the new beginning on June 10th this year, and another is what happened to us in Jan of 2020. Which area of your life changed? And that change came alive in Jan of 2020, and now it's there. Now it's complete. Now we can see it. And now let's talk about this full moon. This full moon is happening in your 12th and 6th house. So it will illuminate, it will bring to light matters associated with your day-to-day routine, health, diet, exercise, and your job, and your spirituality. Those are the areas that the focus will be on for you, Leo. Now the next thing happens on June 25th. Neptune goes retrograde. Okay. And wherever Neptune is transiting in our chart, and Neptune's been transiting your 8th house since 2011. Yes, that's 2011, many, many years now. Wherever Neptune is transiting, we can feel confused. And it's your 8th house, matters of intimacy, regeneration, healing, transforming, personal karma, taboo things. That's where the confusion or deception has been, so to speak, where we've not been able to see things clearly, Leo. However, when Neptune will go retrograde, the confusion can lift off in these areas, and that happens on June 25th for you. Next thing happens on June 27th, and Venus is going to change signs. From Cancer, it's going to enter your sign, Leo, and this is a great thing. Venus coming into your first house means you will be more receptive to you. You will receive blessings, gifts connected to you, your soul, your consciousness, your identity, your leadership skills, how you present yourself to the world, how the world sees you, and your appearance even. And that's a great thing. It will transit your first house for the next 20 days or so. So that's your astrological monthly horoscope for June, Leo. Now I'm going to pick a card for you. These are oracle cards. So, okay. That was pretty... Okay, no. This came out in the last video as well. So I'm not going to go with this. I'm going to go with another one. Okay, I'm going to go with this. It says the fates. So a lot of fated events for you this month, a lot of destiny for you this month, and with the eclipses, I'm not really surprised that fated events can take place. And you see on the card how she is embracing herself. I think you need to embrace yourself as well. And if you are worried about anything, just know that your angels, this woman has wings, she's an angel, are coming to your rescue. It's all fated, it's all destined. Do not worry about anything. If you have been worried, if you have been concerned, the stars are aligning for you. You see how in this card the stars align? I don't know if you can see it. They start to align. The stars are aligning for you this month, Leo. Destined events will happen, karmic events will happen. Leave it to your angels and embrace yourself. That's the message. So that's all from me. Do hit the subscribe button, and if you think your Leo friends will enjoy this video, do send it to them. Again, it's for your sun sign and rising sign. So yeah, do hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.